Hey everybody, Coach Allison back. Week 12 Defy Aging workout to go through with you today. All right, this week is a little bit different. We are going to do an interval style, so we're still going to have our usual work time and rest time, but we're not going to rotate around stations. So each of you will be working in your own space. You'll have your own equipment, and that's a little difference this week. And also the difference is the timing structure. We have 6 exercises. We're going to go through 5 rounds, which I don't think we've ever done 5 rounds of the same thing. And everything is timed 20 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So it's going to move very fast today. 20 seconds of work is not that much, but again, we are doing 5 rounds. And remember, you only have 20 seconds to rest. So this will be different this week, and I hope you enjoy it. Let's go through the 6 exercises. The first one is an underhand dumbbell row. And we have done these before if you have been with our Defy program for a while. So we need 2 weights. And underhand just refers to the type of grip. So we're going to want to grip like you're gripping a barbell. This would be overhand. So this is underhand. And anytime we do any sort of standing row, many of you know we come into that 45-degree forward bend. So you pop your hips back, your body weight is in your heels, and your back is nice and flat. So we're avoiding the rounded spine. Once you're in that position, we pull those weights up to the rib cage, and it's okay if they kind of watch my dumbbells. They're going to kind of separate farther apart as I bring them up. That's just fine. That's just the natural way that your body moves. And that is our underhand row. All right. And next up, forward and lateral floor run. With this one, your coach is going to call out when it's halfway through the set, and you're going to switch. So you'll end up doing 10 seconds of each movement. We've done both of these quite often. Lateral floor run is in our current warm-up, so you're very familiar with it. So we're going to go out, out, in, adding as much speed as you can. Out, out, in, staying on the balls of your feet. You're not bouncing up and down too much. Now, when your coach calls out switch, you're going to switch to a forward back floor run. Pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Step forward, step back. I'll show you from the side, but you still want to be on the balls of your feet, not bouncing up and down too much. Your head shouldn't be bopping up and down. So that's our cardio move, as well as a lot of agility and a little bit of balance because it teaches you how to stay on the balls of those feet. Exercise 3, single arm squat. We need 1 weight for this. Single arm squats are a little tricky. So you all know our standard squat stance. I'll just go over that before I grab the weight. Feet are hip width apart. Sink your hips down and back into that imaginary chair. Want to avoid the knees coming forward like this. So your knees should always be behind your toes. And in order to do that, you stick your hips back. And we're avoiding too much folding forward. So we don't want to come down like this. Instead, keep your chest up. Standard squat, we've done those thousands of times. Now we add the single arm to it. Weight in one hand, the weight is up by your shoulder, not resting on it. And we go into that squat. Other arm can do whatever it wants to do. The tricky thing here is when you squat, the weight wants to fall down like this. So you have to engage that shoulder muscle and those core muscles to keep the weight here and not here. So that is a tricky one. Again, your coach will call out halfway through and you'll switch arms halfway through. So it really will only end up being 3, 4, maybe 5, maybe 4, 5, or 6 on each arm. Not too bad. Okay, number 4, single leg hip bridge on the floor for this one. Done these before. Okay, bend your knees, feet are flat on the floor. Then we pick up one leg. You can do whatever you want with it. It can be wherever. And we lift the hips using just this one leg that's on the floor. So you're going to really feel those hamstrings and glutes. Exhale on the way up. And same thing, we'll do 10 seconds on each side. So halfway through, your coach will tell you to switch sides. And there you go. Now, if you're unable to get to the floor, as you know, we always have an alternative option. So we're going to do something. Pretty sure it was a deadlift, but I guess I should probably check. Yes, deadlift always typically our alternative for floor, hamstring, and glute work because deadlift is a great way to get the hamstrings and glutes while you're standing. You can use 2 dumbbells or a kettlebell. I will show you with the dumbbells. It's a hip hinge movement. So I'm going to sink my hips back as I bend my knees slightly and fall forward, letting those dumbbells just draw straight down the front of my legs. Keep your back, back nice and flat. And as you can see, I almost tipped backwards because I had my body weight in my heels, which is a good sign. So we're avoiding rounding down like this, but instead, again, flat back, pop your hips back. You should feel a good stretch in your hamstrings at the bottom of that exercise, bottom of the movement. 2 more. This one's new. It's a prone IY. Prone just means you're basically laying on your stomach, face down. Many of you are gonna think this looks very familiar, like Superman, which we do a lot, though it's not Superman. With Superman, we lift as much of the chest off the floor as possible, and we lift the legs, right? This is Superman. With prone IY, we want the movement to be very small. We're not gonna move the lower body, and we're going to keep the chest on the floor. We're actually gonna keep the nose pointing down towards the floor as well. We keep the arms straight out, and we lift as high as possible. It's not gonna be very high. So this is our I, and then we come out into kind of a Y. And we go I, Y. Notice I'm not lifting my chest like this. It's a very small movement. It's actually way harder than it looks, so I think you'll be surprised how tricky that one is. Great for the rear delts and even into your lower trap muscles. Your traps actually do go all the way down here. Now, if you're unable to get to the floor, we're gonna do a band IY. So grab a very light band, okay? And just a little bit of resistance on it. So here's slack, here's a little resistance. And we're gonna go up into the I, come down, and then pull tighter up into the Y. So this will be your alternative if you're unable to get to the floor. Last exercise, folks. We have something, oh goodness, everyone's probably gonna be thrilled about this one, push-ups. Okay, floor for the first option. You can of course do toes or knees. If you have a shoulder injury like I do, you can't do the toes. All sorts of reasons you may need knee push-ups, no worries. Do toes if you're able. But if you are doing the knees, make sure that you're not in a tabletop position, but instead watch my hips. I'm gonna sink my hips down so they're in a plank position. And of course from there, we go into our push-up. And we do push-ups so often, I know everyone knows all the alternatives. You can do an alternative push-up on an incline, and you can also do one on the wall. So we'll kind of shift over here. Wall push-up is exactly what it sounds like. Lower yourself to the wall, push up. So that is our circuit this week. 6 exercises for 5 rounds of 2020, and I hope you enjoy it.